Hi, my name is Luyren, and here's a quick Stencyl tip. Make your own timers. Stencyl provides you with 2 events and 2 blocks for timed code, do after and do every seconds. Once they are triggered, they will only execute after their set time. But there are situations in which you need to interrupt or restart those timed events, and today I'll show you how to do just that. I recommend you watch my basic events and custom events quick tip videos before continuing, as the information presented there will be used here. Let's go over a timer example. In this code, we have a do after block with a long time, activated once every time this boolean is false. This could be used to change the state of an in-game day, for example. The important thing to know is that the code inside the do after block won't execute until the time has passed. There's no way to interrupt that code from executing before its time, short of pausing the game. There's also no way of stopping and restarting that timer. The same would happen if we used a do every block. In order to have full control over the state of your timers, you can make what I call manual timers. That's not an official nomenclature, just a way I call them to differentiate from Stencyl's events and blocks. Using the update event, one boolean, and at least one number attribute, here's a timer counting up. The boolean attribute is used to pause and restart the timer. If we set it to false at any moment, the timer won't progress. You can easily do that with custom events. The ticks number attribute is the progress of the timer. Since the update event executes every 0.01 seconds, it is incremented by 0.01 every frame. This makes this timer match real seconds. If I want to restart the timer, I can simply set this attribute back to 0 in a custom event. After incrementing the ticks attribute, I check if it is greater or equal our target number in seconds. Here's where you can use another unhidden number attribute. If it passes this check, here's where we put the code we want to execute after the time. If you want to stop the timer after that, set the boolean to false here. This simulates the do after block. If you want the timer to start again, set ticks to 0. This simulates the do every block. Here's a variation of a manual timer that counts down instead of up. You start by checking if ticks is greater than 0. If it is, decrement it by 0.01. We then check if ticks are less or equal 0, and if it is, execute the code. Here are the differences. To start this timer, aside from the boolean if you're using it, you need to set ticks to your target time, which you again can use the second unhidden number attribute. Only then it will start counting down. And to restart the timer, instead of setting it to 0, you set it to your target time. Another advantage is that, if you have no need to pause the timer, you don't need a boolean. The timer will only start counting down if ticks are greater than 0 after all. Manual timers can also be used in drawing events. This is useful if you want an actor that can be paused to still count a timer while the game is paused. As a reminder, drawing events cannot be paused. You can use either the count up or down variations, but the difference is in the increment and decrement blocks. The drawing event is tied to the frames per second, or FPS. At 60 FPS, it executes 60 times per second. In this case, I refer to all my numbers in frames instead of seconds. The increment and decrement blocks modify the number by 1, instead of 0.01. And the target value for the timer is given in frames now, instead of seconds. If I want a timer of 30 seconds, I set the target number to 180 instead of 30. Now, with debug drawing showing the target time and timer progress, let's see the timers in action. Here's a countdown timer that makes the actor jump. And here is a count up version using the drawing event and number of frames. That's it for this quick tip. Hopefully, this will give you better control over timed actions in your games. I'll leave links in the description if you want to learn more about Stencyl, my itch.io page to get the resources I've made, and to my Twitter if you want updates on what I'm currently working on. Leave a comment if there are any Stencyl topics you want me to cover. Suggestions are always welcome. Thank you for watching.